Hey, thanks for joining me. We are continuing for some fucking reason I can't imagine this Devil's Reign. We're on chapter 7. I say like I'm not sure about why we're continuing this. I mean, obviously I'm going to go through the whole thing. I'm basically going through this. I mean, I was doing Cyberforce from issue 1 on, and then it rolled into this crossover. You know, it's Top Cow, but it focuses mainly on Cyberforce characters. And there's some really good art in this. But the more I kind of revisit these things, I'm like, by God, does the story in this thing, it's really not that great. There's a couple moments. There was issue 2, I think it was, where Ghost Rider and Ballistic were running around and Warren Ellis wrote it. And it was funny and entertaining and I had a good time. And then, of course, there was art in some issues with Witchblade and Wolverine by Michael Turner that looked incredible because, of course, it does because it's him. But ultimately, it's kind of like, it's just, we're 7 parts in. I think the next one is part 8. I think that's the end. I mean, it's an excuse to get Marvel characters interacting with Silvestri's characters. And that's fun, I guess. But it's just, it's not that great. It's okay. It's not memorable. But we are now with Elektra and Cyblade. So starting out, the plot is by Howard Mackey and Brian Holguin. Script by Brian Holguin. Pencils are Billy Tan, Kirk Van Warmer, Anthony Chun, and David Finch. I'm 100% certain it's not necessarily in that order. I think this is a Finch drawing. I'm relatively sure. But I definitely know that the art on the next page is a Finch drawing, but they have him listed last. I talk about this. I wish that they would list who drew what. Because there are those of us, it's not like we could see the various guys who drew it, but who cares what pages? Who wants to identify that? Well, some of us do. I'm one of those guys who wants to know. Now, sometimes I can tell just by art style, but also more specifically, I want to know who inked what. Hell of a row of inkers here. Joseph Weems, hell yeah, my favorite. D-Tron, hell yeah. Billy Tan, I mean, he's penciler, so I wonder if he's inking himself. Danny Meeky, hell yeah. And Kevin Conrad, I know the name, but I can't place what, where, when, who, what. And of course, the coloring's going to look amazing. Like it always does. But goddamn, is there a lot of text on these pages. It's Mephisto. What is a soul's worth? Its weight, its value. In the end, what is it good for? Here we go. We're just going to go on and on. This starts to feel like a Spawn comic. You just draw a Spawn right there. Put the Spawn mask on, and this would be just a McFarlane book. A demon guy sitting amongst rubble and fire, lamenting about how evil and horrible the world is. That's just Spawn shit. It goes on and on about how he's the dark one. He's essentially the devil, and he's fucking with everybody, and it's boring. And so now we get Cyblade and Elektra, and they're going to make a trek to Vegas, I guess. And there's so much text. It's getting into Cyblade, because before it was Mephisto. I want to correct... I think it was the last issue. I kept accidentally referring to Mephisto as Mysterio. Or did I refer to Mysterio as Mephisto? I made that goof up somewhere. Anyway, they're both M names, whatever. Mephisto is lamenting all on the previous page. Now it's a bunch of text from Cyblade. How she's Cyblade, and this reminds her of some French thing because she's French, I guess. And Heatwave, the leader of Cyberforce, vanished, and they're trying to find him. And now there's this character called Ghost Rider, and there's this Mephisto. And I've ran into this girl, Elektra. She's from this other reality. We've been forced together for some reason. I don't know why. She's an assassin or something. Blah, 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 blah. Cyblade's ass. Thank you. I'm a fan of Finch. I am not necessarily a fan of him in this era. I've talked about it. When he started, I thought he was spectacular, and then he kind of morphed and changed as his time went on, and he was never the best at drawing girls. It's good, for sure. It's not my favorite, and he's so good now. I just got done reviewing Skin Breaker, and he's just fantastic. But this era of him is kind of not my favorite. Um, I'm guessing this is Joseph Weems Inks. I only say that because I got a chance to interview the guy. He's a fantastic dude. Go watch that interview. It's on my channel. You can just search it up really easy. Like in my mind, kind of one of the best inkers ever. I love his work, and I'm pretty sure this is him. I like the hair and the kind of the chunky black shapes in there. That's really well done. But yeah, and then of course the backgrounds look great. The coloring's great. But I just Finch's female figures. That's a lot of F's. They're kind of okay, but who cares? They're together, and the world is a hellscape, I guess. And they're on their way to Vegas, because you can tell because the text says Fear and Loathing. Get it? And then, oh shit, now we got to flip it over. And so now this is Billy Tan art. I'm pretty sure he drew the Ghost Rider ballistic part. The girls are in Vegas, and then just the 7 deadly sins, the debauchery are on display everywhere with everyone. Everyone's just like, there's people are part possessed monsters, and so of course the girls dispatch them really easily, and they're like, oh my god, nicely done. Oh, thank you. So then of course we got to take the opportunity to draw hot girls standing there, their boobs out everywhere, looking sexy as shit. It's pretty good, but I gotta say, from an artistic perspective, I think the better, more interesting art is all this stuff in the backgrounds as they discuss the 7 deadly sins. There's greed, as someone's literally trying to sell their child. There's lust. There's this beautiful girl. I think the face, the hair, the chest looks good. Wrath, the shot of this guy blowing another guy's brains out. Gluttony, this fat guy eating a bunch of chickens and beers. Sloth, the fat girl, vanity, envy. Like all these drawings around it, I think are indicative of the artistic ability of Billy Tan better than the giant shot of the hot girl's tits. It's good, but when you're kind of been looking at Mark Silvestri and Michael Turner art, it's almost impossible to match them. And Billy Tan has done an absolutely respectable job. It looks pretty good. But I think the more interesting artistic abilities are on display in the background stuff. That being said, Yahoo! Got to emphasize the nipple because this is a comic book, and the comic book readership are young males. So anyway, we're in another part of town, and there, Billy Tan puts in the effort. He has to draw an entire crowd of people as a car strolls up, and they're all excited, and all these random demonic characters, and girls in slutty outfits, and just the hell has taken over, and it's on display in the streets for everyone. And there's a hype man. He's like, ladies and gentlemen and sinners of all ages, we interrupt our regularly scheduled malfeasance for a few words from our sponsor. You know him, you fear him, you quake in your boots at the sight of him. So let's have a very warm round of applause for that prince of pyrotechnics. Holy shit, what the fuck is that word? What the fuck? Thaumaturgist? Thaumaturgist of thermodynamics? What the I have never seen that word. I was actually telling a friend of mine today how, sometimes people consider comic books a waste of time. It's not actual reading like you would, like if you read a novel. And right, reading a book is a different thing, but I picked up a lot of my vocabulary as a child from reading words in comics, and that would be an example. I don't know what the fuck that word is. Sometimes I've seen words and I've seen them, but I don't exactly know what they mean. But then you kind of learn just through kind of absorption and osmosis. But that is a word that I've never seen. I don't know what the hell it is. Anyway, the Lord of Hellfire, the one and only Heat. And then it just cuts over to the girls strolling up and out of the car. Now, this has been sort of set up. You might not recognize this bald-headed asshole. There's no reason you should. He doesn't look a fraction like what he is actually supposed to be. Who is this guy? I'll show you. I just happen to have this sitting right next to me. This guy here is that guy there. Let's get into remember the original Cyberforce miniseries? I actually still really like it. It just kind of has this feeling of like so much potential to come that was never really realized. never really kind of found its place. But this guy, Heatwave, I've called him fourth-rate Cyclops because this team is just the X-Men. That's Cable, that's Wolverine, that's Kitty Pryde, that's Psylocke, that's Colossus, that's Cyclops, and Ballistic is just Girl Cable. Cybernetic eye, cybernetic arm, bunch of guns, bad attitude. So this is just Cyclops. He's the boring character. He's like Spartan on Wildcats when the book started. Spartan actually got interesting in the hands of different writers way late in the book's run. But Heatwave never did. He's the most boring motherfucker on the team. No one gives a shit about Heatwave. So they decided to make him be the bad guy. He got possessed by evil, and spoilers, he's gonna die. And we're supposed to fucking care. We absolutely do not care that Heatwave dies because no one gives a shit about him, which is why they kill him. Do you think they'd kill Ripclaw? You think they'd kill Cyblade or anything like that? No one cares about Heatwave, so you have him get possessed by evil spirits or whatever the hell. And so the team can have like fake empathy for him because they're like, oh no, our teammate, we love him so much. We fought by him and he was such a great man. And then when he dies, we pretend like we care, but we don't. But he jumps up there and this is pretty intimidating looking. He looks evil. He looks appropriately, shitty. And he's like, yes, everyone, dark blessing be upon you, my children. Fill your cups to the brim and drink deep of the night's Dionysian brew? Did I say that right? God, there's all kinds of text. Who's writing this? It's probably from Howard Mackey. He's got some words in there I've never heard before. Anyway, be evil, everybody. And so he throws a bunch of like gold coins out to the crowd. I gotta give it to the artist, Billy Tan. That's a pretty solid car, and I like the crowd. I even like kind of like the artistic, like having the figures surround it, but they kind of fade out. And the coloring kind of helps sell that this is just the focus of the image, the car, the guy. It kind of works. Like, he's talented. I wonder what he's doing these days. But he throws coins to the crowd, and they catch him, but they're burning hot. And he's like, ha, imbeciles, you expect to dance with the devil and not get burned? You guys haven't learned anything. Getting burned is the fun part. So hot Elektra and hot Cyblade, they're like, well, I think that's the guy we're here to find. Now, Cyblade doesn't know this is her friend from the team. They just know he's the bad guy that they see from a distance, and they got to go fucking cut his nuts off and stuff him down his throat, because that's what we do when we're heroes in Image Comics. And then for some reason I don't understand, it cuts over to Jamie Tarleton, errant member of Weapon Zero. He's in a bar, he's talking with a girl, he's shirtless, he's got leather pants on and boots, and he climbs onto a table. And this is Finch art here. I think this is Finch art over here. But I gotta say, I feel like he was kind of burned out. He wasn't giving it his all. Like, it looks kind of fine. And this shot, I kind of feel like he was trying to get out of this image really quick. He's flexing and kind of talking to the crowd and like, hey, everyone, let's be evil. Let's do evil shit. It kind of works. The anatomy's kind of fine. This arm's a little bit too big as compared to the other arm. And I do not like the shading going on the face underneath the mouth there, that hard, sharp line. Like, I get from a shadowing perspective what he's trying to do, but it doesn't really work. It's not great. I don't know why we cut to this jerk off and what the point of the story is, but I'm not that interested. I never read a single issue of Weapon Zero. I don't know anything about it, so I don't know why he's here. But now we're back to Billy Tan art, and again, I'm kind of impressed with the guy. Old man, looks great, expressive hands. The girls are walking around. They're trying to find out where they need to go. They're running into people. The old man gives some wisdom. He's like, be careful. An ally of one of you will be the downfall of the other. And so now it plants the idea of betrayal in each of the girls' mind. Like, Elektra thinks Cyblade might betray her. Cyblade thinks Elektra might betray her. So they're like, all right, anyway. So they take off. They go walking. And then we get, again, take the opportunity for the obligatory hot girl shot. That's pretty good. I like the shiny metal. It's pretty good. There's no reason for me to focus on the way in which an artist draws boobs on hot girls, but Cyblade's got like armored bra thing, and Elektra's got like just cloth covering her naked boobs, and he draws them appropriately. There's like folds and everything, and you actually get the indications, unnecessarily so, but they're there, of nipples, like actual anatomical accuracy. And then when you have armored bra, you don't get the folds nor the pointy nipples. So he's being consistent. I gotta give it to him. But girls, they're hanging out and they're like, well, we're searching for bad guy. And she's like, well, mind you, this is just a hunch, but I think this is the place. And it's like the Hell Casino. Hotel Hell. That's a pretty damn solid drawing. I don't know who drew it because it's just a building. It could be Finch. It could be Billy Tan. It could be Kurt Van Warmer. I don't know because he's in here. And I'm very unfamiliar with his work. I know enough that I've seen the name and I'm like, okay, that's this guy. I'm almost 100% certain. It's not Finch. It's not Billy Tan. It's not Anthony Chun. And I never was a huge fan of his work, but I haven't looked at it in a long time. I'm actually kind of like impressed with the ability that's actually going on. You can see that this guy can actually draw in a lot of ways. He doesn't have the flash of the image guys, but he's got a little bit more drawing ability in a way. But yeah, the Hell Hotel with an escalator that takes you up, that's kind of a good drawing. And I like the gargoyles on top and the epic clouds and the lightning. It's appropriately evil. It's kind of cliche and stupid in its silliness, but it's also kind of awesome. And I guess are there like skeleton soldiers just walking around Hell Hotel? And whoever the fuck this guy is, I'm not sure who this is supposed to be, but I don't care. He's just talking evil shit with the skeleton warriors. And the point is that Elektra and Cyblade sneak in the building and get past him. And then this is where, again, me looking at this now, like decades on from when it was originally published, I'm like, this Kurt Van Warmer, he doesn't have the flash of the image guys, of the Finch and the Billy Tan, kind of the Top Cow House style. But he's got a soft subtleness to his female figures, a great sense of lighting, great backgrounds. I'm like, I actually kind of like it. It's, for lack of a better term, it borders on boring as compared to the other guy's stuff. But it's also still really good. The coloring, like the only lighting effect is coming from Cyblade's weapon. So I like how the coloring is making that the color palette of the scene. Is pretty solid. But they get up to a room. They look. There's some big giant monsters. So they have to kick their ass. So from a visual standpoint, I guess this is awesome. From a storytelling standpoint, it's a waste of fucking space to show giant monsters, and then you just get Elektra kicking in the direction this way, and then Cyblade shooting lasers that way. It's just a big, awesome shot of hot girls fighting monsters, I guess. We don't actually get to see the fight. We just see the top of the building blow up. Artistically, the proportions are pretty good. It's a very powerful pose. I like the extended leg and the foot. Well drawn. The Psy weapon looks good. Again, it's unnecessary, but to draw the highlights, to give the uplighting on the boobs, to emphasize the nipples, why not? The twisting on this figure is pretty damn solid, to have her pelvis kind of twisted this way, but then her upper body twisted the other direction. Pretty solid understanding of anatomy. Again, the coloring is beautiful. But yeah, girls kick ass against monsters, I guess. And then now they're climbing up Hell Hotel, and they're climbing up because the Hell Hotel was surrounded by like a forest of thorns. Well, now they're climbing up the thorns to get to the top of the building. Cyblade makes some kind of joke about, like these thorns, or Elektra makes a comment about how these thorns are going to tear him up. And Cyblade says, didn't your mother ever tell you to cover your legs? And Elektra says, I will tell you this once, do not speak again of my mother. I don't know anything about Elektra's mom, so it's kind of weird to me. I don't know what that story point's all about. Again, Kurt Van Wormer's got some interesting art. There's some really interesting stuff going on in this figure. There's also some really weird proportional things. I do like, again, it's unnecessary, but he's emphasizing the fucking nipples in the folds on this outfit. But then it's also like super hyper tight where you can like even see her freaking belly button. But I do kind of like the rendering in it. Her face looks a little goofy. Her neck is really hyper long and kind of disjointed from her shoulders. It kind of looks a little strange. And her right arm here is way long, it looks like. But there's also a subtleness to kind of the pose. And again, I do like this lighting and inking kind of going on through here. The clouds in the background look really cool. So it's both got some interesting stuff and some weird proportional things. Backgrounds are great. This shot of the castle, this whatever, the hotel thing they're at. But here's where they come along and they're going to run into Heatwave, the most interesting character in Cyberforce. So interesting that we're going to kill him and we don't care. The girls sneak into the room and there he is. Again, remember, Cyblade has been on the team with Heatwave forever, years at this point. But she doesn't know that this is him. She just knows that he has disappeared. Elektra doesn't hesitate for a second. She jumps in the air. Again, I guess this is the Kurt Van Wormer. It's kind of an interesting shot with an interesting kind of like understanding of anatomy, but it's also a little bit kind of janky. But it's pretty powerful. But Elektra jumps and then Cyblade shoots her in the back. And Elektra is pissed. She's like, you fucking witch whore, what the fuck? And Cyblade's like, I'm sorry, but look, I didn't know this is who it was. And she recognizes for the first time that bad guy is Heatwave. This is the closest we get to an emotional core of the story. The ultimate villain besides Mephisto is a former good guy. And teammate is revealing, or it's being revealed to the teammate for the first time that this is him. So now we're into Anthony Chun artwork. I've not seen him do a lot. I never thought that he was actually... I'm not going to say he wasn't good, but I feel like his art had a more kind of cartoony vibe that did not mesh with Top Cow. And as far as I know, he didn't hang out with them for very long. I don't know for sure, but it just, all these other artists seem to hang around and do shit for Top Cow for a while, and Anthony Chun seemed to kind of come in there and not be there for long, but I don't know what his story is. I do gotta say, I was kind of harsh on his work when I saw it way back in the day. I did not like it. It's still not my favorite, but he's certainly talented. I see a ominous villain sitting atop a giant brick and concrete throne. There's a certain other artist that throws every villainous character he's ever had onto a concrete throne, and it looks 1,000 times worse than what's going on here. Anthony Chun has actually got some talent and skill, and it looks pretty good. The interesting lighting going on. There's some good inking going on. So it's actually all pretty good. But basically, Cyblade's trying to talk some sense into her former teammates. She's like, you're our friend, you're our family, we love you. Please come back, remember who you are. And he's like, okay, boom, punches her in the face, and she's unconscious. Fucking knocks her out. And then he drags her chained up body outside, shows it to the crowd, and Mephisto just looks on. He's like, this is great. Evil is afoot, and this is what I'm here for. I'm here for evil, and it's going to be concluded in Silver Surfer Weapon Zero. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to care. It is drawn by Joe Benitez, so artistically it's going to look great. Look at that Silver Surfer. That is really interesting. Very distorted, with the surfboard coming forward and the coloring giving it a really neat silver sheen. That's really interesting. And it looks like everyone comes together. Ballistic, Wolverine, Witchblade, Cyblade, Elektra, Ghost Rider. All the characters have been together. It looks like they're all showing up in the final issue. So it's kind of fine. It's not thrilling. It's not spectacular. It's just kind of okay. It's kind of fun. I bet the artists were having a great time. And it's fun to see, Top Cow crossover with Marvel. I'm getting the feeling that Silvestri had a good working relationship with everyone at Marvel, and he didn't, piss anybody off like Liefeld did. And Jim Lee had other ideas. He wanted to sell his studio off and go be part of DC Comics. Boring. But Silvestri, again, I'm just guessing, had a good relationship with Marvel, and like, let's cross over our characters. Why not? Let's just make something fun. Let's do something fun for the fans. Like, the only thing they could have done that would have made it more worthwhile is have Silvestri actually draw more than 5 pages in book 1. I'm kind of here for Silvestri's art, and he's nowhere to be found. But that being said, it's just kind of fine. It's fun enough for sure. But anyway, that's all I got for this one. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.